New content posted there daily. Hour number 1 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Off and off the bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria, online, 104.5ESPN.com. Good Tuesday morning, Jordy Collada. T-Bob Hebert still out on this Tuesday. Matthew Musso, who will be here with you for the entire third hour today, and Danny Cardenas here with you until 10 a.m. this morning. We'll talk to Ed Orgeron. Coach O will stop by at 7:30 this morning. If you have a question for the head football coach, hop inside of our YouTube chat app, brought to you by Bayou Ford. Just drop the hashtag AskCoachO. We'll also answer your mailbag questions at 8:15. So hashtag OTB mailbag to get your questions asked here on the air at 8:15 this morning. We'll talk to Derek Stingley Sr. 8 a.m., just like we do every Tuesday. Nick Underhill from NewOrleans.football will stop by. More news concerning Saints running back Alvin Kamara as he misses another day of training camp practice or another day of preparation as the Saints get ready. We're under 10 days until the NFL football season gets going. We'll tell you all about it coming up inside your headlines. Big award for a New Orleans Pelican. Jamar Chase makes it official on Monday. Another rising draftee, draft-eligible player for LSU, makes some news on Monday. Lots to get to here on Off the Bench. Stay involved with us. Remember, we're on YouTube. We're on the 104.5 ESPN station. We're on your smart speakers. We're always online at 104.5ESPN.com, and any sound you hear until 10 a.m. will always be brought back to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. If you missed our conversation yesterday with Verge Osbury, or Ross Dellinger, go check those out on the YouTube station, on Off the Bench's YouTube station. Subscribe and get notified for all the content that gets uploaded there. Here are your headlines. First of the month on this Tuesday.
Headlines on Off the Bench.
Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger reported on Monday that LSU starting defensive tackle Tyler Shelving is opting out for the upcoming football season. The redshirt junior from Lafayette is eligible for the 2021 NFL Draft. Shelvin becomes the fourth LSU player to opt out, joining defensive lineman Neil Farrell Jr., defensive back Kerry Vincent, and wideout Jamar Chase. Speaking of Chase, he made it official on Monday as he tweeted out his thanks and his thoughts on the program after making his decision over the weekend, as Jamar Chase, the best wide receiver in college football, has opted out for his draft-eligible junior season, saying that the competitor in me wants badly to play this season and go to war with my brothers, but during this time with so much going on, this is what's best for my family. I also understand the responsibility of being chosen to wear the number 7 jersey, and that's an honor that I don't take for granted. I have been fighting the thoughts and concerns that have crept into my mind, but I cannot ignore what I feel in my heart, and this is ultimately the best decision for me. I'll look forward to returning to the field in 2021. Hashtag Go Tigers, hashtag 7 out. We will talk to Jamar Chase Sr., Jimmy Chase, tomorrow on Off the Bench, as Jimmy will be here at 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning with us. Some other LSU football news. Defensive end T.K. McClendon has entered the NCAA transfer portal. That according to Matt Zenitz of AL.com. McClendon signed with the LSU back in 2019. He was in the 2019 recruiting class. He signed as a tight end. He was at Copiah Lincoln JUCO, JUCO last season, and then moved to defensive end at LSU back in March before spring practice was canceled. Head coach Ed Orgeron said that McClendon was starting at defensive end and was being backed up by Jarrell Cherry. We'll talk to Coach O about this news coming up here in about 25 minutes on Off the Bench. New Orleans Saints news from Monday. Alvin Kamara appears to be making a late push for a contract extension. This coming from Mike Triplett over at ESPN.com. The New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara has been an unexcused absence from training camp since Friday, and the absence is believed to be contract-related, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. Saints head coach Sean Payton has declined to specify the reason for any players' absences in recent days, as teams are not required to release injury reports during training camp. Kamara is scheduled to make $2.1 million here in the final season of his rookie contract. He reported for the start of training camp and participated for the first several weeks, insisting that this time he was not focused on his contract. Sean Payton was speaking on Monday about a couple of players that were back on the practice field, including offensive lineman Andrus Peat.
Yeah, look, it's good to have him back. He had a thumb that he was dealing with, and like anything, when a player comes back, we'll be mindful of the reps they're getting those first few days. But he obviously is an important part of what we want to do with our offensive line, and it's good to have him back out on the field.
Payton was asked specifically about his third-year running back, Alvin Kamara, going into his final year of his rookie contract.
No, I don't. I really don't want to get into that at this time, nor would I relative to Malcolm or any of the players that haven't practiced.
Payton's got to get the number down to 53 here pretty soon. What's his thoughts on that?
Well, look, I don't think about, I wish we had more time, but you recognize the urgency and you recognize the importance of the decisions coming up. I think one of the challenges always during training camp, and in this case, without preseason games, you're in a race to prepare to get ready for that first game, and it's a little bit of a blind race because you don't know how the other teams are doing or where they're at relative to their progress. You really got to just focus on the things that you can control, which is our progress and our conditioning and where we're at. So obviously it's an important week.
Saints continue to prepare for the regular season that begins in under 10 days. The New Orleans Pelicans forward Brandon Ingram capped off a breakthrough season by winning the NBA's Most Improved Player Award. That was announced on Monday night inside the NBA on TNT. Ingram, who will turn 23 tomorrow, set career highs in points as he averaged 23, rebounds, averaged 6, and assists as he averaged 4. He also averaged a steal per game to go along with his three-point percentage that hovered right around 39% and a free throw percentage that was at 85%. That was in his first season in New Orleans after being a part of a package of young players and draft picks that the Los Angeles Lakers sent down to New Orleans in exchange for Anthony Davis last summer. Here was Ingram last night reacting to the award on TNT.
First, I want to say to God be the glory. Without him, I wouldn't be healthy. I wouldn't have a chance to get back on the basketball court. I think it goes back to last March, me getting injured and not being able to be back on the court until September, and that's very little time to come into and start preseason and start the regular season. But I was ready for it, and since day one, coming in, talking to Alvin Gentry, David Griffin, and some of the trainers on the team, I just wanted to put in my work every single day and just get the best out of it. And this year, and Alvin Gentry gave me a good opportunity to just go out there and do what I wanted to do.
That was Brandon Ingram last night on Inside the NBA on TNT. As last night, playoff games from the bubble in Orlando, the Miami Heat took out Milwaukee in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinal there, 115-104. Jimmy Butler had 40. Giannis Antetokounmpo had 18. He also had 6 turnovers for the Bucks as they fall in Game 1 last night. Game 6 for Oklahoma City as they prevailed over Houston, 104-100. Chris Paul had 28 points, which forced a Game 7 in that series. Game 7 between the Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder will tip off on Wednesday night. Speaking of Game 7s, there's one tonight on ABC. It'll tip off at 7:30 Central Time as the battle between Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets versus Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz has been an exhilarating first-round series from the bubble. The winner tonight will get the Los Angeles Clippers. That'll be Game 7 between the Nuggets and Jazz that tip off at 7:30 on ABC. Before that, 5:30 this afternoon, Boston and Toronto, Game 2 of that Eastern Conference semifinal. The Boston Celtics took Game 1 in that series. Those are your headlines. What's trending here on the first day of September here in 2020. We'll talk to head coach Ed Orgeron of the LSU football team coming up here in 20 minutes. Derek Stingley Sr. will stop by in 50 minutes as we'll talk to him about some of the news concerning LSU football and the preparation for Derek Stingley Sr., Derek Stingley Jr. as he gets ready for another college football season. We'll talk New Orleans Saints with Nick Underhill coming up at 8:30 this morning. What's going on with Alvin Kamara? Another day missed for the star running back in New Orleans. We'll talk to Underhill about it coming up in the second hour today. Off the bench, powered and driven every single day by All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brought to you daily here by Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Remember, over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body, they can help you out with your collision repair. They're the best in the business, in fact. If you get over there and mention Off the Bench, they'll help you out, as they'll always help you out. The customer service is fantastic over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. DGBauto.com. They have a 24-hour tow truck that stays in service over there. So if you need the vehicle moved from the accident site, from the shop to the shop, whether it be from your house, your office, back to Donaldsonville Glass and Body, that can be taken care of, as Nick Frederick has that brand new tow truck in service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over at DGB Auto, online, dgbauto.com. It's not all about collision repair. They can help you out today with an alignment, an oil change, any type of service work that you need done on your vehicle. See them online at dgbauto.com. Stop in and see them out at 415 Division Street, Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Proud supporter here of Off the Bench.
Off the Bench, hanging with Esther and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Jamar Chase, Tyler Shelvin, TK McClendon. How does all the turnover affect LSU in 2020? We're discussing. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Incredible story from John Thompson we'll get to at the end of hour one. Yesterday it was breaking news as we were on the air. John Thompson, legendary head coach for Georgetown University, the basketball program up there, started in the early 70s, went through the mid-90s, had an impact and influence on so many young basketball players that came through that program. A great story about him and a Washington, D.C. Drug kingpin in the early 80s, in the mid-80s. Actually, it was in the late 80s with Alonzo Mourning, who at the time was the number one recruit in the country, went on to become a top 2 pick as he was the second pick behind Shaquille O'Neal in 1992. He went to the Charlotte Hornets behind Shaq being drafted to the Orlando Magic at number 1, but a fantastic story that we'll tell you about coming up at the end of hour one. Ed Orgeron, LSU head football coach, will stop by the conversation here in 12 minutes as Coach O is here every Tuesday on Off the Bench. We will talk to Nick Underhill coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Looking forward to our conversation with Underhill as the Saints had some practice media availability after practice yesterday, and Sean Payton was speaking on a lot of things. Joe Lombardi will give you some sound on Lombardi, who's the Saints quarterbacks coach, coming up here over the next couple of hours as Saints were speaking. But no Alvin Kamara at Saints practice yesterday for the third straight day, an unexcused absence, as Adam Schefter reported. This is concerning his contract. As Schefter said, he is in the final year of his rookie contract, where Kamara is scheduled to make just $2.1 million. Some of the running backs around him, including one that he is always compared to in his draft class, Christian McCaffrey, was given the highest running back contract last season as he makes $16 million per year. And that's always kind of been the comp between Kamaras. Kamara and McCaffrey came in back in 2017 in the same rookie draft class. Kamara just edged out McCaffrey for the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Kamara had 728 yards rushing, 826 yards receiving, and 14 touchdowns in his rookie season. He saw those numbers increase in the second year. He had 18 touchdowns in 18, but then last season, he said he was playing on one leg for the final 3 months. After he got banged up early on in the season, he finished with a career low 530 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. But the value of Kamara in the Saints offense goes without being said, right? I mean, that specific position that we've seen Sean Payton really make sure that he has somebody in the stable since day one, whether it was Reggie Bush, C.J. Spiller, Darren Sproles, and now Alvin Kamara. There was always going to be somebody that fits this role. And, I hate to speak and being a prisoner in the moment, Danny, maybe you can offer a little bit better context here, but I think that Kamara fits this role better than anybody. I mean, I think Darren Sproles would probably be the best argument that in that role just because of his versatility. But Kamara is a guy that can run between the tackles, he can run outside, and he catches the ball as good as anybody that they have at that position in the league. So I expect him to get a contract before the regular season. I think that he's probably next up, with him and Ramczyk being the next two guys to get paid. I'd say that they'd probably take care of Kamara first.
Yeah, what separates him from other running backs is you can never get a clean hit on him.
Never.
He always slips through the cracks of defenders, and that's what separates him from other traditional running backs.
Yeah, his nickname's Water. I mean, they call him Water. I mean, he's just tough to grab. There was a lot of reaction to Leonard Fournette being released yesterday. I thought Fournette, from the public relations standpoint, handled it fantastic with the statement, thanking Jacksonville, thanking the city, thanking everybody in the organization, and looking forward to whatever could be next for Leonard. It was discouraging to see Doug Marrone's comments yesterday being made public once that that release was made public of Fournette. Marone was on a conference call saying that they try to get a 4th, 5th, 6th round pick, and that nobody would bite in return for Fournette. So obviously, like we said yesterday when we were going off the air, I think that this is going to be the best thing that ever happens to Leonard. There are going to be some dark days before you get to the good of this, but hopefully this will motivate Fournette, humble him to a point that he understands that football is it's a luxury. I mean it is not it's not for everybody, and it can be taken away from you very quickly if people around that business don't seem to find a fit for you. So hopefully he can get into a spot that is a good fit for him, and he can stay in the league here on the second part of his career. I mean, he's in the same draft class as Kamara, McCaffrey, and those guys, Joe Mixon, who are up for contracts this season and are looking at big numbers. McCaffrey's already got his, but Fournette's sitting right there with those guys in that draft class, so we'll see where he lands. I'm kind of surprised you haven't seen any activity or action around him up to this point. I expect him to be picked up pretty quickly here. Just with the urgency, with the urgency of the season right on the horizon. So we'll have to see what happens with Fournette and what's the latest. The latest with LSU football is more players are leaving, and another big one in Tyler Shelvin. This is a big announcement that happened yesterday. We mentioned inside the headlines that Jamar Chase made it official yesterday on his Twitter account, coming out and making a statement, thanking LSU, looking forward to what's next, kind of giving a little bit of the behind the scenes of what went into this decision. As he went on to say, we are living in such an unprecedented time, and despite the ongoing pandemic, my teammates and I have worked hard this offseason preparing to defend the national championship. We know the expectations in front of us, and are doing all that we can to accept the challenge, working toward new goals set for ourselves individually and as the team. And as we read the portion of the statement inside headlines, Chase went on to say the competitor in him badly wants to play this season and go to war with his brothers, but during this time with so much going on, he's got to look out for his best interest for both he and his family. And he said that he'll look forward to returning to the field in 2021 when he is a part of the NFL draft. And for somebody like Jamar Chase, as we explained yesterday, Chase is a top 3 pick. I mean, if he doesn't put on another pad for 365 days and the next evaluation he goes through is the NFL Combine and the NFL Draft, he's got enough film out there of showing his talent and skill against big-time competition where a lot of the questions have been answered around Jamar Chase. I mean, the quality of wide receiver that you're going to get if you make the choice to choose Chase. And, I would expect him to keep himself in shape, to keep his skill level up until that time because of the type of prospect he is and with so much at stake, right? I mean, the value of Chase down the line, he's a lottery ticket. Jamar Chase is a Powerball ticket right now as we speak. Tyler Shelvin is a little bit of there's value there, but there's more questions than there is any type of demand that you're going to get the talent. You know what you're going to get in Jamar Chase. I know exactly what I'm getting with Chase when he shows up. You're getting a dynamic football player, an incredible athlete, a guy that is motivated, somebody that understands that the best is in front of him and he's going to work hard and try to get there. I know what I'm getting in Chase. I still got questions about Shelvin. I think questions about Shelvin that he could have answered here in another season of football. I have no spot. I've got no place. I have this has no. I don't have the credentials to criticize Tyler Shelvin for making the best decision for he and his family. But when I look at it from a football standpoint, good luck to Tyler Shelvin. I hope he goes on to be a first-round pick and takes care of the people around him in Lafayette that have supported him to get to this point. He is a fantastic football player, He is an incredible athlete at 300 pounds for the way that he can run, move. He is going to be in high demand for NFL teams once it's officially, announced that he's in the draft. But there will be question marks around his motivation and his ability to keep that weight off and keep that weight down, even as short as a couple of weeks ago, Orgeron was here still trying to motivate Shelvin to lose weight on one of his Tuesday stop-ins. We were asking him on the way out if there's anything that he wanted to say. He said, yeah, Tyler, Big T, we got to keep Big T, underweight. And I would imagine that being outside the program and being outside of the people that are constantly looking over your shoulder, making sure that you're eating the correct stuff. You've got a nutrition center right there on site. You've got defensive line coaches and coaches around you that are always motivating you and making sure that the best is in front of you. Without that, I've got concern with Tyler Shelvin from the football player standpoint, that he can be out of the game that long and keep himself in shape and be ready for the NFL draft. His film is incredible when he is right. It could be argued that he has been good as much as you've had to motivate him at LSU. I mean, the first couple of years, it was, when can you get on the field consistently? He couldn't get on the field consistently until he handled his weight. And once they got him motivated to handle his weight, once he got on the field, he was good. But still, once he got on the field and he got banged up a little bit and was away from playing, that weight shot up again. So, like I said, from the personal choice, I don't have the credentials to criticize or tell Tyler Shelvin what's right or wrong. That's his decision. He made it. From somebody that is a fan of LSU, football, I support that and hope that he maximizes that choice. I'd imagine that NFL decision makers would have been a lot more secure in choosing him if they would have had 10 more games of film to evaluate and one more season of college football to see him stay on top of his weight and take care of everything that goes into being a football player. We'll ask Coach Orgeron about that decision next, coming up here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Daily, we're brought to you by Central Plumbing Company, online, centralplumbing.org, 925-8552. Remember, get in touch with Jay Payne, Zach Payne, Brandon LeBlanc this morning if you're looking for plumbing services, whether they are residential or commercial plumbing. Central Plumbing can take care of it today. Been reminding you with the storms that came through last week, there's still some rain on the horizon. If you lost power and you want to make sure that you keep power the next time a storm comes through, Central Plumbing Company can help you out with a generator. In fact, yesterday I got a call from a friend of mine asking, who can I get in touch with about some generators? And I gave him Jay Payne's number over at Central Plumbing Company, 925-8552, online, centralplumbing.org. Centralplumbing.org is Central Plumbing Company is located on Greenville Springs Road. Stop in and see them or give them a call this morning, 925-8552. They're always looking for licensed plumbers. So if you're looking for work, give them a call right now at 925-8552 or online, centralplumbing.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. The guys are live from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street talking football, NBA playoffs, and a whole lot more. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Coach O, and you are listening to my favorite radio show, Off the Bench with Jordy and T-Bob, right here on ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Go Tigers.
Every Tuesday right here on Off the Bench, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria, we link up with the best college football coach in the game right now as his group, the defending national champs, reigning national champs, are preparing for their September 26th home opener versus Mississippi State. He's back with us on a Tuesday morning. Welcome in, Coach Ed Orgeron. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, guys. We just come off of an outstanding practice yesterday. Went full pads. Our guys had a great attitude. I'm really pleased with the work that our coaches and our players put in yesterday.
Coach, it's always next man up mentality at LSU. You guys have recruited at such a high level. With over the last 48 hours, you get big-time players that announce the news that they are opting out for this season. What has been the feeling around the program in those conversations? What have they been like?
You know, those things are going to happen. That's the time we're living in. And we wish Jamar and Tyler the best. They helped us win a national championship. They're two great young men from great families. We recruited both of them. We wish them the best. But you know what? We don't blink. Next man up. Are we going to miss those guys? Sure we are. But we got some guys here that can play some football. Keyshawn Butte had an outstanding day yesterday. I think he caught 7 passes. You know, Coy Moore's a little hampered right now with a minor injury. He has done a tremendous job. You know, Racing McMath. You know, there's 200 balls that was caught last year that are out there this year, and I know those guys are going to want it. And then yesterday, Jacobin Guillory, a freshman, had an outstanding freshman. So, hey, next man up. Here we go. Absolutely,
Coach. What is the leadership? What's the leadership that you've seen from this team this fall with all of how quirky this season has been to getting up to this point? You've still yet to play a game. What have you learned about your team off of the field?
Yeah, you know, guys like Jacoby Stevens stepping up, Andre Anthony stepping up, Miles Brennan, those guys are stepping up. I think the offensive line, you look at Darrell Rosenthal, Ed Ingram, Austin Deckler, those guys have been leaders for us. Chris Curry's been a leader for us. Terrence Marshall's been a leader for us. You look at other guys on defense, Damone Clark. is a great leader for us, and Derek's there every day, working hard. So we got a nice solid foundation, and we're going to continue to grow on it.
Terrace Marshall's kind of a quiet guy, when you see him just around the halls and moving around the facility. But if you follow him on social media, you can tell that he has heard maybe the disrespect to him coming in for his third season. When they talk about wide receivers coming back, as for college football as a whole, they rarely mention him. Coach, now he's the number one target on the defending national champs. Does he understand that responsibility?
Oh, no question. Terrace is raised right, great parents, has a great head on his shoulders. I think he's going to have an outstanding season. Had an outstanding year for us last year. He's battled through some injuries. Got to get him completely healthy. He's almost there right now, but I think he's going to have a great year. He about to handle everything thrown his way. He has tremendous character.
Yet another successful recruiting weekend. You picked up a commitment on Friday and Sunday. What is the emphasis on closing in on this class as the numbers begin to rise?
Really, we're looking for offensive linemen, and I think that we're in there for some great offensive linemen. Obviously, still looking for the best players available. We'd love to get another great running back. Love to get a couple of more defensive linemen that we're after. We have some great defensive linemen we're after. The best player available. We went over the board yesterday. We've got some great choices, and a lot of guys want to come to LSU right now. But we have to put a good product on the field, which we will, and end up strong.
Recruiting, the calendar changes today, Coach. I think you're allowed to start going in with some text messages. You can text 2022 prospects starting today. How does the recruiting calendar change for you guys in the facility?
Well, Derek Stingley didn't get any sleep last night because at 12:01 he was on my Twitter, and that was the first minute he could text him. So I know that guy was up on the Twitter sending guys messages. And today we will be sending 2022 players messages. We have a great recruiting class already in 2022. We feel like we're going to get a couple of commitments, one or two big-time commitments in the next month or so from that class. So we feel really good about it.
You brought the running backs, and you consistently talk about Kevontre Bradford, who was a freshman in this class that may be overlooked just because of the names that you brought in and from some of the guys that are already in competition at that running back spot. What have you seen from your true freshman out of Texas?
Outstanding speed, outstanding toughness. He got around the edge yesterday for 3 or 4 big-time plays. Can run the ball inside. Still has, ways to go learning the fundamentals. But Kevin Falk's going to get him right. I think he's going to be an outstanding back for LSU.
We always talk about the freshmen here, and you're always breaking down this freshman class. Are there guys on campus that have been on campus, maybe some veterans that are catching your eye, that are developing right now that may have a chance to make an impact?
Yeah, I talk about Cordell Flott all the time. He's had a great camp. Andre Anthony and Travis Moore, they've showed up at defensive end. And, with all the guys that left or whatever, I think those guys would end up starting anyway. I mean, they have showed consistency. They're in shape. They've been around the program a long time. So I'm proud of those guys. Really, Torrey Carter has been excellent for us in practice. Rayson McMath has been excellent. John Trey Kirkland, his time is up. You're going to see him a lot on the field. John Trey's an outstanding athlete. So we're excited about those guys, and it's always good to have Todd Harris back. He puts some stability back there. He's a great player and a great leader.
What was the conversation like with TK, TK McClendon, who the news came out yesterday that he's entering the transfer portal?
Yeah, we wish TK the best, and we wish it could have worked out for him here at LSU. I had a good conversation with he and his mother, and wherever he goes, I hope he does an outstanding job as a football player.
We talked about Lake Charles last week and what it means to you. You've got a son down there at McNeese who's the starting quarterback. That part of our state was rocked by Hurricane Laura. I know that there are people at LSU that are giving their time and donating time and energy to try to get everything restored down there. But I know that has a personal impact on you.
Yeah, I have a lot of great friends in Lake Charles, and I spent a good year there coaching there. I love that place. That's where both of my sons went to school. I wish all those people the best. If there's anything I can do to help them, I will. I know we sent in a truck down there with some supplies today. and that should be there around 10 o'clock. So hopefully that can help. But again, my thoughts and my prayers goes to everybody in that area with great people. I know they're struggling right now, but I know those people, just like we are here, are very resilient, and they'll bounce back.
Coach, your team has got to be chomping at the bit to see another squad at this point. I mean, this is usually the part in camp where you're going through the dog days, right? I mean, can you explain the motivation and kind of the focus of the group right now?
Yeah. Well, the good thing about it is dog days are over with this new schedule. I mean, it's usually going 2 a days, usually practicing every week. These guys are only practicing 4 days a week, and they got 3 days off. So, we need to get better. We had a hot day yesterday. It was very humid. We needed that to get in game shape. And this is going to be a tough week. This is going to be today. We got goal line coming in. We're in full pass. We got a big scrimmage on Friday. I told our guys this is a big physicality week, and it'll probably be the last week of a physicality week. And we have a preseason game 1 on Friday, preseason game 2 the next Friday, preseason game 3 the Friday after, and then we're going to be ready to play.
Wow. Coach, some individuals, some listeners are looking forward to seeing and asking you about. Jontre Kirkland is a name that routinely gets, I hate to say forgotten about, because there's just so much talent at that wide receiver position, but he has been a guy that you have tried to find a spot for because of his athleticism.
And you know what? He's a great young man. He's a great athlete. Obviously, we know he's an outstanding quarterback at Lutcher, led him to the state champion. He's great with the ball in his hands. And you know what? Jontre has waited his turn, been a leader for us, come to work every day with a smile on his face. I hope he has a tremendous year.
Coach Ed Orgeron every week here with us here on Off the Bench. Coach, we always appreciate your time. Have a great week of preparation. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Thank you. Why is T-Bob so quiet this morning?
T-Bob's out. He's up in North Louisiana with the mom and the crew.
I got you. Okay, he's up there with the crew. Okay, man. All right, hey, go Tigers.
Yes, sir. There he is, Coach Ed Orgeron, checking in this morning as from LSU football. A couple of remarks there on Orgeron as guys. Next man up mentality always from the LSU football program. Jacoby and Guillory would be the next man up as far as the defensive tackle goes after the news yesterday that Tyler Shelvin was going to be out and opting out for his redshirt junior season. And then it's good to hear Coach talking about those two youngsters. Coy Moore, who he mentioned was banged up a little bit and going through an injury. But when you look at Keyshawn Butte, who Verge Osbury has talked about a couple of times, and anybody that you talk to around the program, seems like he is going to be a high-end playmaker for the wide receivers, a 5-star out of the Opelousas area, the New Iberia area, who's going to come in here with the intent to play early. And then don't forget, those guys that are already in the room at that wide receiver spot. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, a group and a position that is already built to take on a hit of somebody like Jamar Chase, and we cannot excuse Chase at all. I mean, Jamar Chase is the best player in college football, so that type of hit is going to be tough, and you really cannot overcome the production that he gave you last year. And as we said yesterday, it'd be tough for Chase to really mirror the production that he got or that he put in last season, just by the attention that defenses are going to show him. But that wide receiver room is stacked, and one of the names is Jontre Kirkland, and I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised that he's still around, and then the impact that he can make because of just the athlete that he is. So Jontre Kirkland, I see, like Orgeron said, man, I mean, there's 200 balls there that are pretty much wide open after last season, the way that they threw it around. So there's going to be a lot of names that step up. We appreciate Coach O for stopping in here for his regular Tuesday segment. We'll close at hour one next.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
All-Star Toyota. Remember All-Star Toyota online. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge is where you can find them. They're on the corner of Goodwood and Airline, where they've been since 2005, and you can shop new inventory. Remember, it's Labor Day coming up, so there is going to be great offers for Labor Day over at All-Star Toyota. We'll be telling you about some of the specials coming up before the Labor Day sale over at All-Star Toyota. But remember, All-Star Automotive, 13 brands, 11 locations all around South Louisiana. You can find them online at allstarautomotive.com. There's great specials on pre-owned and certified cars right now. In fact, they can get you into a brand new vehicle. You can shop all of the inventory on the corner of Goodwood and Airline. Great selections over there. If you're looking for brand new cars, pre-owned and certified cars, if you're looking for hybrid models, if you want to buy a car, lease a car, rent a vehicle, all of that can be taken care of for you this morning. Online, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hi, this is Chance Inman, President and Chief Operating Officer for Janney King Gulf Coast. Here are some ways to protect yourself and those around you from the coronavirus. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover coughs and sneezes with your elbow. Disinfect high-touch surfaces regularly. Use non-contact methods for greeting others. And avoid touching your face. Following these steps, as well as social distancing, should help all of us stay healthy.
Janney King, the king of clean.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes.
Hey, it's Musso. Join us for Tuesdays Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota. Coach O stops by with an update from LSU camp. We talked to Derek Stingley Sr., Nick Underhill talking Saints training camp, and the latest OTB mailbag. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, I always appreciate Coach Ed Orgeron for stopping by with his time here Tuesdays on Off the Bench Weekly. Brought to you by All-Star Toyota. Remember, catch that sound. Brought to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. Online, 1045ESPN.com will be uploaded to the YouTube site. On Off the Bench later today. Stick around. We'll talk to Derek Stingley Sr., get his thoughts on some of the announcements that have rocked LSU football over the last couple of days. We'll get his thoughts coming up here at 8 o'clock. And we'll also talk to Nick Underhill, 8:30 this morning, as Underhill will talk on the Alvin Kamara situation. Remember, we remind you, if you're looking for New Orleans Saints coverage, New Orleans.football that is put together by Nick Underhill is the best get over there and subscribe for the information. You'll be up to date, like a minute by minute breakdown of Drew Brees' practice on Monday, as Underhill followed Brees around the practice field and talked about some of the conversations, some of the people he was interacting with, some of the stretch routines, and some of the workouts that he was going through during that Monday practice. So Off the Bench, daily brought to you by All-Star Toyota. Great story that I found. John Thompson, yesterday we were here on the air. I guess it was about 24 hours ago, really, when the news was breaking that legendary head basketball coach John Thompson spent so many years, early 70s to the mid-90s at Georgetown University, made an impact, was a 1984 national champion. That Big East Conference was so popular during that time with the names Raleigh Massimino, Lou Carnesecchi at St. John's University. Raleigh Massimino was at Villanova. Jim Boeheim was at Syracuse. Jim Calhoun was at UConn. John Thompson was at Georgetown. Just some of the battles that they had during those days. It's really when basketball was great. There's a great 30 for 30 for it on ESPN. But yesterday this story came out, and some of you may know this story, but I read it for the first time, and I got it. Dan Wetzel actually wrote it over at Yahoo. But during the late 80s, the 1988 season, Washington, D.C. Was riddled in crime. There was crime everywhere. And as you know, Georgetown University is settled is in Washington, D.C., and John Thompson was the head coach there. And in 1988, the summer of 1988, Thompson was the biggest name in the sport. He was among the biggest names of the sports. He was the head coach of the Olympic team in the summer of 1988. Now, they took home the bronze medal that summer, and that was kind of the start and the push for the dream team that came in 1992. But in 1988, John Thompson was the Olympic basketball coach for Team USA, to give you an idea of his popularity at the time. That same summer, Alonzo Mourning was the number one center in the country, the number one high school basketball recruit in the country. And as we said, Alonzo Mourning went on to become the second pick in the draft in 1992 behind Shaquille O'Neal. Now, he stayed and was a junior and was behind Shaq as a draft pick in 92 to the Charlotte Hornets. But the summer of 88, when he was coming in, and he was coming into to Georgetown, there was a renowned drug dealer named Rayful Edmond, who operated a violent and highly profitable drug trafficking operation in Washington, D.C. He also put together AAU summer league teams that they would recruit at a high level. And he would do this against other drug dealers in the area. And they would recruit players, and they would pay players, and they would have these incredible basketball events around town. So the drug dealer, Edmond, recruits 2 Georgetown players, including Alonzo Mourning. The other one was John Turner, who was a native of D.C. Edmond was under surveillance from the FBI, the DEA, name it. He was one of America's most wanted criminals at the time, and he is running Washington, D.C. in the summer of 88, and he gets Alonzo Mourning and John Turner to play on his pickup basketball team in the summer. John Thompson goes ballistic, is irate when somebody gives him a call and says Alonzo and another one of your players are playing in these drug pickup leagues in the offseason. You might have a big problem. Alonzo gets called into the office. He calls him, he dresses him down, tells him he's an embarrassment to the program. He's an embarrassment for everybody that's come through there before him, that's built up the program. Alonzo Mourning is crushed. He leaves. He never goes back and plays that game again. He never even sees the drug dealer again, Rayful Edmond, because nobody could get their hands on him, right? I mean, the DEA, the FBI, they're all trying to find this guy, and nobody can get him. John Thompson puts word out on the street in Washington, D.C. that he wants to see Edmond. 2 days later, Rayful Edmond is sitting in John Thompson's office listening to Thompson, the basketball coach in the summer of 88, tell this drug dealer to leave his players alone, and if he does it, there's going to be a problem. Edmond said, who was just released from prison in 2019, after serving 2 life sentences. He was released under witness protection, said while he was in prison that was the most intimidated he had ever been in his life, is when he went into Thompson's office and Thompson scared the life out of him to leave his players alone. A great story that you can read on yahoo.com. Derek Stingley Sr. next.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by Ochsner, the Sports Medicine Institute over at Ochsner. 3 locations, Baton Rouge, North Shore, and New Orleans. Remember, if you are a professional athlete or just a weekend warrior or anywhere in between, the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute has what you need to get you back into the game, get you back on the court, get you back into the pool, get you back on the field as quickly and as safely as possible. Their team over at Ochsner Sports Medicine is equipped with specialists with an unparalleled depth of experience, whether it's orthopedic surgeons, primary care, sports medicine physicians, performance training coaches, sports medicine assistants, occupational and physical therapists. It's all under one roof for you at Ochsner. Ochsner.org is where you can learn all about it, but there's locations in all of our listening area. New Orleans on Clearview Parkway, Baton Rouge right here at the Grove, and Covington on the North Shore, all online at Ochsner.org.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on Tuesday, September 1st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 92. In case you missed hour one of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Brought to you by Carriages. Still to come, Derek Stingley Sr. joins the show next. Nick Underhill talks Saints at 8:30. Remember, we have our OTB mailbag today. Get your questions in, tweet them, or ask them in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat using the hashtag OTB mailbag, and we'll get them answered at 8:15 a.m. Follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us live at the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Off the Bench YouTube channel. Set your notifications for new content posted daily. Hour number 2 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hour 2 off and at it off the bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria, online 104.5ESPN.com. Jordy Collada, no T-Bob Hebert. He'll be back with us tomorrow morning. Matthew Musso, Danny Cardenas. Musso will be in from 9 to 10 o'clock as OTB OT rolls on. Be here till 9 a.m. for Off the Bench. Derek Stingley Sr. coming up here in a couple of minutes. He's with us every Tuesday. City Cafe brings us that conversation. Remember, City Cafe, O'Neill, George O'Neill, where good friends meet. Boiled shrimp nightly back over at City Cafe. Anything you missed, online, 1045ESPN.com. Carriages brings back all of our sound. Coach Orgeron in hour number 1. Coach O was speaking about a couple of the guys that have made choices over the last 48 hours to opt out of a final season of playing. Tyler Shelvin had 2 years of eligibility left, but many believed this believed to be his draft year as he was coming back for his redshirt junior season. Jamar Chase, his draft eligible junior season. Makes a little bit more sense as we explained in hour number 1. Never will tell anybody about a personal choice that they make for the betterment of their family and their overall future. But it does, from a football standpoint, look like it would make more sense for Tyler Shelvin to have more film out there. Talk to Derek Stingley Sr. coming up here in a couple of minutes. We'll also talk New Orleans Saints. Nick Underhill from New Orleans Football as some big news concerning the Saints. Alvin Kamara back out again yesterday. No practice for Kamara as he is in a contract year, final season of his rookie contract. He's looking for a new contract. Adam Schefter reported from ESPN yesterday this is dealing with that contract status right now with New Orleans. So hopefully, maybe they will have a resolution here, something to talk about soon. So stick around. We'll talk to Underhill coming up at 8:30 this morning. Every Tuesday here on Off the Bench, we talk to Derek Stingley Sr. To lead off of our second hour. Obviously, you know it. His son is the best defender in college football. A lot of the conversations here in preseason camp have centered around the battles between Jamar Chase and Derek Stingley Jr., widely considered to be two of the best players in college football, especially at their positions respectively. But the big news over the weekend was that Jamar Chase had opted out for his junior year. We welcome in Derek Stingley Sr. to the conversation here on this Tuesday morning. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Morning, Jordy. How you doing?
Doing okay. I guess let's start there. What was your reaction when you saw the news of Chase opting out? Were you surprised at all?
No, I was not surprised. You know, you have to look at the fact that, you know, he has to do what's best for himself. And just like his dad said, what's happening now in the world, not just college football, is a pandemic that you got so much uncertainty. Everything from this point right now, we don't know what's to come. We don't know what's to come next week, next month, even next year. So if Jamar chose to do what he thought was best, was to say, you know what, I just don't know what's going to come from all this. And the best thing for me to do is to forego this year and start preparing to where I know I can be healthy and ready for the upcoming combine, then we have to respect that. I respect it because I just put myself in the Chase's shoes. What will I do in this situation? Because it is a tough situation that we're dealing with. We started the year with two conferences shutting down. And then We got the other 3 other Power 5 that's still going, but then we have to push it back. And who's to say if we're even going to get all those 10 games in? Yeah. And what could happen from that? Jamar has done everything that he could do for the program of LSU. Yeah, he didn't single-handedly bring us a championship, but he was a major part of that championship, a major part.
Derek
I
Stingley.
look at Jamar like a son of mine, and it just upsets me on some of the things that these grown-ups were writing about because he chose to make a personal decision that some people would never, ever have to face in their life. You have all this life-changing, generational-type money sitting on a table, and you're asking a 19, 20-year-old to make a decision. But these grown-ups who sit back and just want to be entertained are upset because this young man chose to make a personal decision. Let's just say Jamar did get hurt in practice or a game. What would everybody would have said? Oh, he shouldn't have played this year. I don't know why he played. What was the purpose of it? Ohio State is not playing. Arizona State isn't playing. Why did he go out there? You know, those things right there is this stuff that people don't have to deal with when you're looking at a person like Jamar that had all these options out in front of him. Mm-hmm. So he chose to do what's best for him. I'm going to miss him, but I'm truly supporting him and his family with everything that I have.
Well said. Derek Stingley Sr. joining us here Tuesday morning. I think another piece of information that you can give great insight to is Ryan Clark's relationship with not the program, but just players, because you're a tutor of defensive backs. You're a defensive backs coach for the Dunham School, and so is Clark. And Clark has a very well-respected off-season training program where he brings in not only high-end college players, high school players, but he's got pros out there working out with him. Can you give our listening audience an insight to the relationship that you share with Clark and kind of the knowledge you have with the relationship he has with the program?
Ryan and I, we're very close. Our 2 sons, Jordan and Derek, are like very close. Ryan is like a brother to me. He's like an uncle to Derek, and I'm like an uncle to Jordan, his son. What Ryan brings is let me set the record straight on this. Ryan is not turning any players against the program. Ryan doesn't even talk to the players about what they need to do within the program. He's not that type of person. What Ryan does, he's a trainer. He does mentor these guys off the field on football stuff, on how to become a better player. Now, within that, there are lessons taught. But he's not telling someone, you must do this, you have to do that. That's just not his MO. He's not that guy. What you see on Twitter and things like that, that's part of his job, just to talk about things, just to talk about issues, to bring them out. And those are his opinions on those issues. He's not stuffing it down these kids' throats, making them say, well, you know what, Mr. Clark, yeah, you're right, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it's about football with him. It truly is when he's training these kids. Now, with some of them, it may be a little personal deal, but he's not trying to make them make decisions. These young men have minds of their own. They're not easily led just by anyone. They're college students that can figure things out. You do need sometimes all the necessary information to figure out what you want to do. I don't think any of them just take anything and just run with it and just say, yeah, I agree with that because he said it. I know my son isn't like that. My son is a thinker. He's going to take the good, the bad, and then figure it out and then put it out on whether he has to put it out on paper or whether he has to speak it out. He's going to form his own opinion on things. Ryan is a good guy. He always has been. I know people just going in at him thinking that he's totally against the program. He's not. He's not. He's a supporter just as well.
What have you learned about your options, whether it be now or next year for junior? Have you learned anything new in this time that we're in, this crazy time that we're in of athletics, of some options that you may have for,
the only
such a
option
high-end player?
that I know, The only option that I know that we have is just what every other NCAA football player has. We have the right to opt out, just to sit out this year if we're concerned about the coronavirus. But that don't mean that he has to. Derek is just a sophomore. He opts out. He has to come back for his junior year.
Right.
That he gets this year back regardless. So those are the only things that we know presently about what we can do. But Derek, he's not opting out. He's out there practicing. So, I mean, that's the only other thing that has come our way so far that's concrete that I can speak on. So we got the same options that all other NCAA football players have. Because of the COVID-19 situation, if we feel that there's a health issue, then we can sit this year out and come back to play at LSU.
From somebody who knows this team, knows the roster, and knows the sport like you do, is LSU still a contender in 2020 without Jamar Chase and Tyler Shelvin?
I mean, what Chase's production is going to be hard to replace. We know that. But I've seen some other guys out there that can not bring that same production, but you can plug in a few other guys that can also come with that same production. Now, it may take a couple of guys to do what Jamar did this past year and what he was probably going to do this year. And in my mind, yes. I think the offense is still the same offense. They're going to make other schools defend the entire field. I think the defense is just as strong or even better because of the scheme with Coach Pelini. So in my mind, yes, we're still a contender. I don't know. The sky isn't falling. I mean, coaches are still working. Players are still practicing. And that team is still a good team. And we're going to be one of the better teams this year.
Good stuff this morning, man. I like it when you're fired up.
Man, look, I just didn't like what I was seeing from some of the comments because, let's put it this way, I really don't read a lot of the comments, but some things that were said about Jamar, about his decision and his family, that really had me going. Because, put it this way, what if that was my son? Because these players may not read those comments, but they probably do. But if they don't really read them, guess what? Someone within their circle reads them. And then someone brings it back to those players. So those are the same players that everyone screamed for on Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. But then when they make a personal decision, it's like the end of the world, that they're selfish because of the fact that this is life-changing money or life-changing generational type stuff for him and his family. I just didn't get that. And that was my first time really going in and reading those comments like that. I didn't like that because he was just the darling. He was just the face. He was just that guy. And then all of a sudden, he's the enemy? Just like that? To me, that made me feel some type of way. And I'm sorry for talking like this today because I normally don't speak like this.
Don't apologize, man. That's good stuff. Thank you very much. Have a good week. We'll talk to you next month. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, Jordan.
See you, man. There's Derek Stingley Sr. checking in. Good perspective right there from one of the best player in college football, one of the sport's best players. That's his dad, weighing in on some of the effects and some of the things that they think about or what they have going on during these decision-making processes that they go through. That is excellent perspective right there from a high school football coach, a college football player's parent, and a former athlete himself in Derek Stingley Sr. We're back with more Off the Bench. Your mailbag questions next.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brought to you daily by All-Star Toyota. Remember, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge is located on the corner of Goodwood and Airline, where you can find them today if you want new cars, if you want pre-owned and certified vehicles, if you want to lease a car, buy a car. All of that can happen this morning if you shop All-Star Toyota. Remember, the certified selection, All-Star Toyota has over 90 in stock to choose from. Aaron Piku, the sales manager out there, has great certified used vehicles that offer drivers high quality and dependability at an affordable cost right here in Baton Rouge. They've got new car models to choose from on the lot, like 4Runners, Avalons, Camrys, Corollas, Highlanders, Land Cruisers. If you're looking for a Prius, this morning. How about a Sienna, Sequoia, Tacoma, Tundra? All of that can be shopped online at All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. You can also find them on the corner of Goodwood and Airline. Stop in and see them today. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge, been around since 2005, and online, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is big. Really big. I mean really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richards Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Janney King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Janney King, the king of clean.
Service Master.
Yo, join us for a Tuesday edition of Hanging with Hester and Hanny presented by Richards Honda. Hunt Palmer sits in with us for an hour. We'll also be joined by Chris Doring of the SEC Network and SiriusXM Radio on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, your mailbag questions every week here on Off the Bench. Still an opportunity to get inside of the huddle. And, not the huddle, of the Bayou Ford chat app on YouTube. My bad. Hashtag OTB mailbag. As we will get your questions asked and answered just like we do every Tuesday here. That was good stuff from Derek Stingley Sr. He's good. He offers great insight every week. We love the segment because of the perspective. Him being he's a coach. His son obviously is a dominant college football player and going to be a high-end draft pick in the NFL. And then he's a former player and athlete himself. So I mean, he gives very good perspective to all positions of being in athletics these days, and he offers that up every Tuesday morning, and that was good perspective from the dad this morning in seeing some of the criticism that Jamar Chase is facing after making the choice earlier this week to forego his junior season and just get prepared for the NFL draft. And I agree with him in the sense of, we've got no idea. We've got no idea what it's like to be sitting in that position and ultimately be handed a lottery ticket. You're sitting on a lottery ticket. If you're Jamar Chase, if you're Jimmy Chase, if you're the family of Jamar, and I don't know what else you could really accomplish or prove to get the people that make the choice to give you the money that you're good enough. They're already saying at the NFL level that if Chase is, if he's eligible to be drafted, last NFL draft, that he's a first-round pick. He's a top 15 pick. So this year, when he is eligible to be drafted, he's going to be a top 3 pick. Hell, he might be the number 1 pick in the draft, depending on who gets the selection. Let's just say that I God forbid, I don't want anything to happen, but if something happens to Burrow early on, he ends up missing the majority of his rookie year, and he goes down, and they do the same thing and win 1 game and have the first pick in the draft, they're not drafting another quarter. They're not drafting Trevor Lawrence. It looks like Jacksonville's all in on Trevor Lawrence. So, if they have the number 1 pick, yeah, Trevor Lawrence is going there. But if the Bengals are, let's say the Jets have the number 1 pick with Sam Darnold, he feels like that's their future. He'd probably be the number 1 pick. To me, Jamar Chase is the best football player in college football in 2020. And it's non-debatable, really. So, I understand what Chase is doing. The timing sucks. Yeah, but there's never a good time to make that decision if you're Jamar Chase. We'll talk to Jimmy tomorrow morning, but I heard a little bit of Jimmy with Jacques, and this is something they've been contemplating, kicking back and forth, talking about for the last couple of months. And there's never a good time to do it. Shelvin, personally, I got no credentials to tell you what to do. Go get the money, get prepared, and set your family up. I think the NFL would have probably liked to have seen 1 more year of film, but I get it. All right, Mailbag every Wednesday, every Tuesday here on Off the Bench. Here's the latest edition.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for Off the Bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
OTB Mailbag. Where do you want to see Leonard Fournette land for an opportunity to prove his worth?
Man, I had a good game going yesterday in a text group chat playing What If on Fournette, just kind of naming the place, the team. The team that keeps popping up that I hate to see is the Buccaneers.
That would be awful.
That would be terrible. But you talk about scenarios out there that could use a running back instantly, that he's not going to go in with a lot of pressure. And yesterday we painted a scene that we would like to see him in a situation that has a quarterback, a functional quarterback for the first time, it would feel like, in Leonard Fournette's football life. Is there a better representative? Is there a better example than Tom Brady in Tampa Bay right now? I love the Arizona stuff with Kyler Murray.
I like that too.
But you know what else made sense was the Chargers. When now that I'm watching Hard Knocks and we were playing a little bit of the games, they don't have a running back. They seem like they lost Melvin Gordon in the offseason. There's a situation that possibly he could step into. I think there's a couple around the league. Arizona, to me, jumps out just because of the youth, the energy there, and just the feeling around the program. I would love to see Leonard get into a situation where he doesn't have to go there and save it. He's not the centerpiece. He's not the face of the program. He's just a player in the locker room behind the scenes that's contributing and trying to get a champion. I'm ready to see Fournette in a situation like that. So Arizona, to me, would be my vote.
I feel like if they didn't already have Sony Michel, this would have New England written all over it.
And it still may.
It's still, you're right. You're right. It still may.
Danny, you got a vote here?
Give me Buffalo. Even though he had that huge fight in Buffalo, I think it'd be cool to see.
Hope you can get the best of Lenny in Buffalo. It's really cold up there.
Pretty chilly.
Pretty cold.
OTB Mailbag, toast the bread or not on a sandwich?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you toast
all
it.
day. all day.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean,
It
I
just
guess
adds a little something.
The
there.
only selection here that would be untoasted is a fresh piece of bunny bread, like a fresh piece of like right off the shelf where it's still fresh, and you can eat like an untoasted piece of bread on a sandwich would be my choice there. But I mean, if given the choice at Inga's, every single time when they ask toast or no toast, I go toast.
Steak. Love the marinated steak.
Shout out Amar.
What?
I said shout out Amar.
Yeah, still in college, Dan.
Love them too.
Don't let your youth show.
OTB mailbag. Jordy, why 2 days in a row the fresh shave?
Well, I can't snap my fingers and automatically come back on day 2. But I just sometimes it just gets a little long and itchy, and like right here at the late August, early September, it's still hot and humid. And on Sunday, it just caught me at one of those times where I was around the trimmer and the straight razor, and I just went all in. I mean, by Thursday it'll be back, not back, but it'll be back.
Be on its way back.
Yeah.
OTB mailbag. Any more news on the Will Wade situation?
No. I mean, I think we tried to highlight the process last week. I think it's a witch hunt. So,
not a situation.
No news. No news is going to be the deal, I think, here for the next couple of months because of the decision that the independent board has at the NCAA whether or not to pursue LSU basketball on these alleged allegations.
Most underrated dessert.
Banana pudding?
I was going to say, I don't know if it's underrated, but I can tell you my favorite dessert is bread pudding. Absolutely love it.
You got a vote here, Dan?
I'd probably choose Belgian waffles. For me, it's been for me lately.
Is that a dessert?
Belgian waffles.
Is that a dessert?
No, for me. I'm saying for me.
Okay.
It's like underrated.
Damn.
That's
What
it.
a
I
date.
didn't expect that, Dan.
What a
I'm not
date.
going to lie. That was, yeah. I mean,
after the steak, after the potato, after the vegetable,
Belgian waffle on top of it.
How do you like your Belgian waffles?
Ugh.
All right, who we got?
Favorite flavor of Bluebell ice cream?
Pralines and cream.
Wow. Okay. I mean, how can you go against the homemade vanilla? It's just fantastic.
Very original.
It's original, but it's great.
Going cookie dough.
Cookie dough's great.
Chocolate ice cream is the best ice cream. Just that out there. Favorite movie and wine combo?
You know what?
Give me a cab.
No,
All about the
yeah.
cab.
I guess the wine would be a cab, but I'm not the movie guy off the top. The Americans has got me.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
You were talking about that yesterday.
Wine and the Americans, and somebody asked if I was going to watch the post show, The Real Story on the Americans. Anything media on the Americans right now, I'm trying to gobble up. I am hooked, man. I mean, it's got me. I can't wait to get back to it this afternoon.
I was about to say, what season are you on already? You were on
2.
Just
No, I'm on 2. I didn't do a lot of watching yesterday, but as soon as I can find a time to carve out, I'm not moving. So what usually happens to me, my sleep pattern is so screwed up, especially on weeks that I don't have Jordan. So like this week, I don't have my son. So I'll lay down in bed after the day. Like I'll get home at like 7:30. I'll be in bed by 8 o'clock. I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up and it'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning because my sleep pattern is so screwed up. And then from like 1 to 3, I'll try to battle going back to sleep, but not falling full asleep because I don't want to sleep through. So I'll end up just like I'll turn on the stream. I'll end up watching the Americans like 2 or 3 episodes at like from like 1 to 4 in the morning. And then when I get in here, I'm usually dragging ass on a morning like that when I don't sleep. So it's all screwed up.
I mean,
man.
most people would be.
It's all screwed up.
All right. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, those are your mailbag questions here on Off the Bench. We will talk New Orleans Saints. What's going on with the Saints? What's going on with Alvin Kamara? Yesterday, 3rd straight unexcused missing of Saints practice. Adam Schefter at ESPN is reporting that this is centering around the contract discussion. Kamara is due $2.1 million or $2.3 million here in the final year of his rookie deal. That is grossly underpaid. We will ask Nick Underhill what Kamara deserves next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Collada and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily here on Off the Bench by Coy's Diesel. Remember, online at coysdiesel.com. If you drive a light, medium, or heavy-duty diesel truck, Coy's Diesel can get you taken care of today. Online, coysdiesel.com, serving the entire listening area, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, and all the surrounding areas. They're located on Airline Highway. Great shop out there on Airline in Gonzales. If you haven't stopped in to see them, make sure you do it today for your service call. But if you can't get to them because you're broken down on the side of the road or the vehicle cannot get to Coy's Diesel, it's at your office, at your house, all good. 24-hour roadside assistance from Coy's Diesel. They can tow you back to the shop there on the corner in Gonzales on Airline Highway. Coy's Diesel's got the great experience. Remember, if you need a service technician to get you up and moving today, you can't afford the downtime with your truck, get over to Coy's Diesel. They are taking your appointments online. You can drive up over there on Airline Highway. CoysDiesel.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona, inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Jamar Chase, Tyler Shelvin, TK McClendon. How does all the turnover affect LSU in 2020? We're discussing. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, shout out to Carriages. Remember, Carriages located on the corner of Jefferson Highway and Old Hammond right here in Baton Rouge. Been outfitting men's clothing shop since 1982. Voted the best by you, the customer and the listener. Stop in and see Carriages. All of our sound brought back by Carriages, whether it was Ed Orgeron in hour number 1, Derek Stingley Sr., who was fantastic at the top of the 8 o'clock hour, are our next guest, Nick Underhill, talking New Orleans Saints. All of that is brought to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. Thank you, Nick. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Can't imagine where you want to start today.
Yes. All right. So since you obviously brought it up, let's start there. Jameis Winston picked off yesterday in red zone. What the hell?
Well, we've seen a few of those, and we're probably going to see a few more before camp's over, so no surprises there.
No. So Alvin Kamara, third day out. This is an enormous story, and it's growing nationally. What do we make of it locally?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that there's just going to be a little bit of push and pull here, and we're kind of seeing that come to a head a little bit. You know, about 10, 12 days ago, just to give some insight on where they were starting from, there was a battle over what Christian McCaffrey's contract is worth. And this is getting a little bit technical, but just to kind of give an idea of where they're coming from. McCaffrey, for practical purposes, signed a 4-year, $64 million extension, annual average value of $16 million per year. The thing about it is that when you come off the 4th year of your rookie deal as a first-round pick, you got to have your 5th-year option exercised, and that's a process. You file some paperwork, it becomes an official transaction. McCaffrey never did that. So you could look at his contract as if it's a 5-year contract worth $14 million per year, and obviously Kamara wants to see it as $16 million. If you're negotiating against McCaffrey's deal, you would rather see it as $14 million. And this is where they were at 10 days ago, trying to figure out, should they look at it as a $14 million contract or 16? So, you know, they've worked past that, I think, but it's just been a push and pull every step of the way. And I do think at some point you're going to get it done. But look, I mean, it just got to the point where Alvin wasn't happy with how things were going, and he stopped practicing. And that wasn't his intent. I can say that with confidence. And look, he told everybody he didn't want to make this a Mike Thomas thing. And now it kind of has become a Mike Thomas thing. But, you know, from both sides, I see where there's issues. If you're the Saints going to 13, 14 million for Alvin, you probably feel like you're extending yourself a little bit, because as good as he is, he hasn't been at his best since 2017. And there is a little bit of risk involved until you have proven production of him being healthy, being out there, and being this guy who, you know, in my opinion, I think when everything's right, is among, if not the most talented player in the league. But, you know, from his point of view, he thinks he should be paid $15 million a year. You know, I think that's the number that he's looking at right now. And I think, you know, it's in everybody's best interest to meet at that middle point, but until they get there, it's just going to keep being this push and pull.
Is this the stress that the situation needs to get the deal done, in your opinion, with something like this, Kamara just skipping out on practice?
I mean, you know, maybe it's tough. I mean, with the Saints, sometimes this stuff doesn't always go well. I think Alvin's important enough to the team that I think, you know, maybe it goes a little bit different, and there's some more flexibility with him and everything. So, I mean, I just think that it makes too much sense for everybody to figure out the $2 million difference, meet in the middle, get it done before the start of next week when you're preparing for the Bucs. It wouldn't make sense to me for this thing to carry on too much. So, you know, this has been kind of like the worst kept secret in New Orleans for about a week. You know, I think everybody kind of assumed that this was a holdout, and this is, well, a hold in is what they call it now, because you reported. But, you know, I wasn't too worried about it until it became public, and now that it's out there, it kind of seems a little bit more like, all right, well, somebody put this out there, so there's some frustration going on. But I just think it makes way too much sense to get it done and to get him back on the field.
NewOrleans.football. If you want Saints information and you are not subscribed to NewOrleans.football, well, then you really don't want the Saints information, because this is a spot where you got to be. Nick Underhill is the author and publisher of that site. He is with us every Tuesday morning here on Off the Bench. It's not just the written format for NewOrleans.football. One of my favorite podcasts to go to is the NewOrleans.football podcast that I subscribe through Spotify, but wherever you catch your podcasts at, you can get subscribed to the NewOrleans.football podcast, which I highly recommend, where you can learn about things like Patrick Robinson finally starting to show up. We've seen Patrick Robinson a couple of times here in New Orleans. This is his second stint after signing a free agent deal last summer out of Philadelphia. It seems like he is starting to catch on, and it seems like because his health is right.
Yeah, Jordy, it's crazy, because if he was any other player, if he wasn't Patrick Robinson, you didn't know what he looked like. You were just showing up, and there wasn't this history of I guess it's fair to say disappointment. You know, he's played well other places, but in New Orleans, you've never seen it. As a draft pick coming back, it hasn't been there. If you didn't know any of that and you were just showing up to practice, he would be blowing you away.
Wow.
Because he's been that good. I mean, yesterday's practice that he had was probably one of the better practices I've seen all at camp. And in these one-on-ones against the wide receivers they have, the wide receivers should win those every single time. I mean, the only guys that do well in those as cornerbacks are like Darrelle Revis and Lattimore and Stephon Gilmore. Like, cornerbacks just aren't out on an island like that. And P-Rob, he won all three of his reps yesterday against, viable receivers, and it was just really good. He's been picking off passes. He's, I think, second on the team in camp in pass breakups right now behind another guy that's, a little disappointing to Saints fans at times, P.J. Williams. But, P-Rob, I think that third cornerback spot was the spot on the team where I was looking at, like, all right, they don't have anybody here. Like, this is the problem area of the team. If you hit this pressure point, it could start to come apart. And I'm not ready to say that P-Rob is the answer to that at all, because we have seen the history and we know what he can do. But based off this camp, if we were just judging it on its own, it looks like they have a possibility there. So I'm less concerned about it than I was. I'm not convinced, and I won't be until I see him do it in the game. But, I think with him, confidence has been such an issue throughout his career. And when he has it, he does well. When he doesn't, things start to spiral. I think he's healthy and playing with confidence, and he's looking good right now. I mean, it's a positive sign for one of the troubling areas on the roster.
Nick Underhill, you can follow him on Twitter at Nick_Underhill for all the information that's come out of New Orleans.football. The third wide receiver was a point of discussion in the offseason. It feels like Traquan Smith is going to be the guy there. But what about Benny Fowler? Fowler is a fascinating story when you just talk about how he got here. But now that he's here, Nick, can he make an impact?
You're right. I do think Traquan kind of has that third spot locked down. It was that was a spot, too, that I thought was kind of open a little bit coming into camp, and he's sealed that up, I think, and he's going to do well there. But, yeah, Benny Fowler is the fourth guy. I think that's starting to look more possible. He started off really good. Then he kind of got silent for maybe about 5-6 days, and then he came back 3 or 4 days ago, and he's been making a lot of plays, catching passes from Drew Brees. You see some chemistry there, and it's starting to lead to production. And, that was the guy that Brees found him, basically. He worked out with Brees in Denver when Brees went out there to throw with Emmanuel Sanders. Fowler impressed Brees. Brees called the Saints on the team. Like, Brees basically signed this guy, so he's going to have every advantage over everybody else to make the team. But, there are a couple other guys, too, on the team that are doing pretty well. I think Juwan Johnson, the UDFA, he's a bigger body guy. I think he's probably more likely practice squad. Marquez Callaway's looks really good on, special teams, and he's made some plays on offense. So, if they keep 5, there's maybe room there for him. But I think right now, if you were to cut down to 4, plus Deontay Harris, I think that Fowler, as of today, would have that inside track. But, camp's so weird right now, and it's truncated. If somebody got on a really hot streak over the next 4 days, that could go away. But I think Fowler's starting to solidify himself a little bit.
The offseason work that Drew Brees talked about in strengthening his arm, and a lot of that strengthening was done to his lower body and his legs, seems like it's paying off. The latest write-up I am reading at NewOrleans.football or read last night is that he has continued to answer the question of arm strength throughout this training camp.
Yeah, and I didn't want to believe it. I thought it was kind of funny a little bit when everybody was talking about him throwing 60-yard passes. And for the record, I cannot picture him throwing a 60-yard pass. I don't think he's throwing a Mahomes-type pass here soon. But,
right.
40 yards, it looks like he's hitting those with consistency, and they're on stride. And, they're on a line. It isn't this, Peyton Manning in his final year duck-looking thing going through the air. Like, Brees is throwing good passes 40, 45 yards down the field with consistency. The other night in the Dome, it kind of seemed like that was the practice where they're like, all right, we're going to open it up. Let's see what you can do. And he hit 5 or 6 of them in that practice. And he had another one, 2 of them yesterday here. It's been every single practice. There's been a few and you're seeing it. And, I was skeptical for a while. It's just gotten to the point where he's done it enough that it needs to be believed that this is going to be something he can do. And it's good enough. It's good enough for him to hit maybe, throw 2 of them a game, keep the defense honest. I don't know if like I said, it's not a Mahomes type thing, but it's enough. And they didn't have that the last couple of years. 2017, when he could throw down the field a little bit to tag in, the offense was a lot better. It opened up, and, there's more room to operate underneath. He can take the top off just a little bit. It's going to make a difference, and I really do think that he's going to be able to do that.
Andrus Peat back in action. What'd you see?
I saw a skinnier guy that's moving better. All the hype about him, I think, is true. He looks good. He's much more athletic, and that's been the big thing with him. I don't know if at any point in his career, I can't say this, with confidence all the way, but I know in some years, I don't know if it was every year, he show up and he didn't pass the conditioning test. And, this year he's in shape. He's going to pass that test, and he looks good. And I think that's going to make a difference. Their screen game the last 2 years since 2017, it's really moved backwards. In that 2017 season, it was the best in the league. And in the last couple of years, it's been average and just fine. And I think with him being able to get down the field and lead the way, that's going to make a big difference. And then Eric McCoy, too, he's another guy with a lot of speed. And you put Tron on that left side, you're putting stuff to the left side of the field. They're going to be able to get out there and lead the way. And that is going to make a difference. So him losing a little bit of weight, being able to move a little bit better, he'll be better in the fourth quarter of games. He'll be better in December. It's going to make a difference with how he plays.
Projections on the 53-man roster, daily training camp practice notes and observations, and even pieces like a minute-by-minute breakdown on how Drew Brees spent a practice. You can read all of that at neworleans.football, and make sure you subscribe there and subscribe to the podcast. I told you I catch mine on Spotify. It is a must-listen if you are trying to keep up with New Orleans Saints information. You can get the updates every Tuesday here on Off the Bench, every morning on New Orleans, Alexandria, and Baton Rouge, the ESPN affiliate. Thank you, Nick.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it. Nick Underhill checking in on this Tuesday morning. We'll close that hour 2 next.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Daily here on Off the Bench. We're brought to you by the Landwise, LANOIX agency.com. Remember, get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David this morning about all your insurance questions. If you're looking for a free quote this morning, which could serve as a really good starting spot for savings, get in touch with Randy, Brian, and David this morning on an insurance quote on your auto, your home, your business, your flood insurance, whatever you're paying right now. See if you can save a couple of dollars each month by getting a quote from the Landwise this morning. There's so many good testimonials at this station that you can listen to, whether it's Jimmy Ott in the evenings, T-Bob and I here in the mornings. Rivers was a very satisfied client and customer when her and Kevin bought the new house, and they put their homeowners insurance with Landwise Insurance Agency. Find out for yourself. Online, hit them up, LANOIX agency.com. Call them up at 749-5640. Tell the boys you heard it right here on Off the Bench. Landwise Insurance Agency, LANOIX agency.com.
Off the Bench, hanging with Esther and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Annis & Bitter. Annis & Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. The guys are live from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street talking football, NBA playoffs, and a whole lot more. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, good stuff from Nick Underhill. Remember, all of our Saints information comes from Underhill. You can get that every Tuesday morning here on Off the Bench. Check us out online at 1045ESPN.com. Make sure you are subscribed and notified for everything that happens on YouTube, as we are live for all of our shows on the 1045 ESPN station. And Off the Bench, all the highlights that happens here between 7 and 10 a.m. Will originate from that Off the Bench station. Speaking of 10 a.m., during the 9 o'clock hour, Matthew Musso will be sitting in and recapping what we talked about a lot of here during the first 2 hours of OTB. Tyler Shelvin yesterday opting out of his junior season. Jamar Chase making it official that he will be out of this college football season. We gave reaction to that. We also asked Coach Ed Orgeron about those instances at 7:30 this morning, so you can make sure and check out that feedback from Coach O earlier this morning, and then got a pretty good, a really emotionally tied in interview from Stingley Sr. I mean, he's always good here on Tuesday mornings, offering up great insight and facts to whether it is teaching or watching football. But this morning you could hear the emotion in his voice about some of the things that have come out over the last couple of days with the criticism to Jamar Chase and his family. Stingley was very he was very direct this morning, and it was really good radio. So if you missed it, check it out. It's at 1045ESPN.com. ESPN.com ranked their top players in college football this year, and they've got Derek Stingley Jr. number 2 on the list as they rank the top 50 players in college football. They've got Trevor Lawrence number 1. They've got Derek Stingley Jr. number 2. They've got Penei Sewell, who is the left tackle at Oregon, who seems to be on the tops of all draft boards, at number 3. Justin Fields, quarterback from Ohio State, 4. Jamar Chase, 5 on this list. We are biased, obviously, but I think that Chase is a little low, even at that number 5 spot. Kayvon Thibodeau, defensive end for Oregon. Oregon's got a pretty good roster. Travis Etienne, Jennings, native, running back for Clemson at number 7. Marvin Wilson, defensive tackle from Florida State at 8. Micah Parsons, inside linebacker at Penn State at number 9. And number 10 on this list is Patrick Surtain Jr., cornerback from Alabama. I don't know about that one. He's a good player.
Who?
Look, I mean, we're all tied into the recruiting stuff here, but I mean, even watching Surtain the first 2 years, I mean, he's really good. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't have Devontae Smith at Alabama ranked higher, going into his.
Is Surtain the highest ranked Bama player on there? Where was Dylan Moses? Was he not in the top 10?
No. First Bama player on here is at number 10, Surtain.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if Speedy Smith and Dylan Moses should be ahead of him there. All right, we will be back. Or Barmore, Christian Barr, the linebacker. Barmore's a player. Hour 3 coming at you. OTB.
Off the bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Daily, we're brought to you by Secure Shredding. Remember, online Secure Shredding and Recycling, proud sponsor here of Off the Bench. Baton Rouge Company, Baton Rouge people, Gaines Garrett and his crew. Go see them over there. Serving Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, and New Orleans. Your document destruction specialist over at Secure Shredding and Recycling. Premier provider of document destruction services, whether you're an individual, a business, a nonprofit organization, or a government agency. They handle all types of ways for shredding. Mobile shredding. They got mobile trucks that shred on site, whether it's at your office or or at your house. Drop-off shredding. If you have boxes that need to be shredded, you can get to Secure Shredding and Recycling. Drop those boxes off this morning to have those shredded. If you need hard drives destructed, and you mention Off the Bench, the first 2 hard drives that you give up will be destroyed for free. They can protect your digital information today over at Secure Shredding and Recycling. Online, SecureShreddingandRecycling.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and the Thurns grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
Sir Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Tuesday, September 1st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 92. In case you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section, 1045ESPN.com, brought to you by Carriages. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Watch us live at the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel and interact in the Bayou Ford chat. Make sure you subscribe to the Off the Bench YouTube channel and set your notifications. New content posted there daily. OTBOT starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
OTBOT on Tuesday, September 1st. T-Bob Hebert. It's his last day of vacation. I'm Matt Musso, sitting in for him. He will be back tomorrow for all 3 hours of the show. Today, though, in the final hour, we will once again get into a bunch of different topics here. Kirk Herbstreit's talking about the potential for a college football czar. We'll talk about that. Of course, Tyler Shelvin opted out of the 2020 LSU college football season. Jamar Chase made it official yesterday. Brandon Ingram bringing home awards for the Pelicans, and an interesting name starting to surface in the Pelicans coaching search. We'll talk about that as well. Potential for a bubble in the NCAA. Certain new developments there make it very, very possible that we will know more shortly on the potential for that. And it doesn't just pertain to college basketball only. And, of course, we will talk about Saints camp because it's just become pretty apparent to me that if there's an equivalent for the Miles Brennan weight discussion at the Saints, it's Drew Brees' arm strength. So we'll kind of just dive into that a little bit, as well as Alvin Kamara holding out or holding in, whatever they call it, for a new contract that he is almost certain to get from the New Orleans Saints. We will start, however, with Tyler Shelvin opting out of the 2020 college football season. That news coming late yesterday afternoon, around 5 o'clock, really, that Tyler Shelvin made his decision public. And from the basis, you take the same approach you do with Jamar Chase and understand that that's his decision. It's the decision he thinks is best for him and his family, and you move on with it from there. And I think that's going to be the take you hear from most people. And then you get into if it might have been the right decision for Shelvin personally, and that's just an opinion. He's the only one who can actually say if it was or not. You've heard a lot of people say, put one more year of film out there for the NFL. Shelvin's projected by some to be a first-round pick, but it's not a slam dunk like Jamar Chase, right? He's kind of more of a fringe first-round pick guy. He's been projected as high as a top 10 pick by some, but he's also been projected near the back end of the first round. He's been projected all around out of the first round by some experts on the draft as well. So maybe one more year of film could have benefited Tyler Shelvin greatly. I'm more interested in how much did the new scheme of the defense play into his decision. Shelvin, while a lot of people talked that he was going to feast in a 4-3, he just doesn't look like a 4-3 defensive tackle. And a lot of that is his weight. He's athletic for sure, but you can't play defensive tackle in a 4-3 at 340 pounds. And that's right around where he played nose guard last year. And they were talking about having to get his weight down again this year with him ballooning back up to around 360. Shelvin, I think, was around, if memory serves correct, was around 400 pounds in high school. So it's been a battle with his weight the whole time at LSU. He probably projects as a 3-4 nose guard at the next level anyway. So, yes, if he wasn't going to get that tape back out because LSU switched schemes, how much did that play in? And we might never actually get the real answer on that on the record, but I think that's a conversation that definitely bears having. It's more of a head scratcher from Shelvin's perspective than it was for Jamar Chase. Just because Jamar Chase was that slam dunk pick, there wasn't much he could improve on from having an 1,800-yard receiving season 20-plus touchdowns and winning the Blitnikoff. Shelvin, you definitely saw more room for improvement, but that's just where that gets. There's the room for improvement, but it was going to be in a new scheme. And did he really translate to that scheme well? I mean, he had, two weeks of practice up to this point now. Week and a half, 2 weeks of practice in the new scheme. Maybe it wasn't jiving for him. Maybe he just felt this was the best move for him. Nonetheless, that leaves a bit of a bigger hole there for LSU on the defensive line. This one doesn't seem as clear-cut replacement as Jamar Chase does on the offensive side of the ball at receiver. Yes, you do have bodies at defensive tackle and along the defensive line, but they haven't played a lot of football. Coach O was here earlier talking with Jordy, and he mentioned Jacoby and Guillory, a true freshman who was a top recruit for LSU last cycle, as being the next guy up in the 4-3. And then you also have Jaquelin Roy, another true freshman, and you have Apu Ika as well. But Ika, again, kind of fits into that same mold as Shelvin, doesn't he? I mean, he's more of the 3-4 nose guard type guy. How does he transition into the 4-3 defensive tackle? And that's been just a lot of discussion around the technique, right? All offseason, going from the 0 to the 3 technique. And Bo Pelini said, we teach it the same way. Coach O has said we teach it the same way. You've had numerous people come on this radio station for interviews and say we do it the same way. So we'll see how that translates. I would imagine Apu Ika's going to have to drop a little bit of weight, though, in order to really excel at that position. So it's not as clear-cut replacement for Tyler Shelvin as it would be for Jamar Chase, right? I mean, we went through it yesterday with Chase. Well, Marshall moves up 1. McMath moves up 1. And then you have a host of others that could be there. Trey Palmer, Keishon Butte, who Coach O shouted out earlier, who had a great practice yesterday. Coy Moore, who's dealing with a little bit of an injury right now, but they expect to be back and fully great. John Trey Kirkland, it certainly seems like he's going to get a lot of time on the field there. Just not as clear-cut there on the defensive side of the ball. And defensive line was kind of already a bit of a question mark for LSU when you go to the end position as well. Trevez Moore and Andre Anthony are the 2 starting ends right now. Yes, they've been on the team, but they haven't played a lot of football. And that's not to say that they can't go out there and have breakout years. Of course they can. But it's just not the certainty that you feel more on the offensive side of the ball and replacing. And look, to be fair, Racey McMath did play last year for LSU, but not a lot. McMath was out there. I mean, he sticks out, games from him that stick out for me last year. Vanderbilt, he had a good game at Vanderbilt. He made some plays against Mississippi State. Those are really I remember seeing him out there, in other games. Those are really the 2 that stick out to me as where I just remember, man, Racey made plays in those games. I mean, of course, Trey Palmer, the thing that sticks out the most from him last year is the punt return touchdown. Then you have Butte, Moore. Those guys haven't played a lot of football, but you'll get them out there and see. But at least you have those 2 solid options in Marshall and McMath at receiver. You don't necessarily have that on the defensive line. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes about in replacing Tyler Shelvin. They definitely have the bodies, maybe just not the experience. And look, they've recruited well, and they're going to continue to recruit well on the defensive lines. Coach O's bread and butter. So that was the thing he said when he got here, and we're going to strengthen the offensive and defensive lines. He's done that. Now it's time to see, or they've taken the steps where they think they've done that. It definitely showed last year. How does it carry over to this year now, and especially with Shelvin deciding to opt out? That's going to be the big question. You still have enough time to get somebody ready to fill in for that spot for the upcoming season. I mean, you're still 3-4 weeks away from the first game against Mississippi State, but there's going to be a difference in going out there and facing up against offensive lines like Alabama and Florida and Auburn than you saw in high school, or even that you saw last year in your limited time on the field. So it'll be interesting. That's just continues to be a point of great emphasis for LSU heading into this season, will be the defensive line. And it got even bigger now with Tyler Shelvin deciding to opt out of the 2020 season and prepare for the NFL draft. We wish Tyler Shelvin all the best. Certainly, he is a Tiger, and we want him to succeed at the next level to the highest of his abilities. Right now, we got to grab our first break of OTBOT. When we get back, we will dive into a little bit more college football talk as Kirk Herbstreit wants central leadership in college football. We also will talk about a potential for an NCAA bubble in sports like basketball and others. Stick around. This is OTBOT.
OTBOT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Yo, join us for a Tuesday edition of Hanging with Hester and Hanny presented by Richards Honda. Hunt Palmer sits in with us for an hour. We'll also be joined by Chris Doring of the SEC Network and SiriusXM Radio on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Welcome back into OTB OT. We have some good news on the college football front. Reports from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette are that all of Central Arkansas's initial COVID-19 tests from Sunday morning after their first official college football game of the season, all of them came back negative. The next round of testing for Central Arkansas players is scheduled for today. The results for Austin Peay are not currently known, but this is great news because we talked yesterday that game was the ultimate beta test for a college football season. You had two teams out there playing against each other. You had fans in the stands. And so far, one half of that, the team, one third of it, technically, one team has all come back with 0 positive tests after playing a live football game against another team. So far, protocols are working. And if they continue to work, and if we continue to get positive, this is going to sound weird, if we continue to get positive results out of that game, not necessarily tests, it's going to be real hard to stop the rest of the leagues from playing this fall. 3 Power 5 conferences, the ACC, Big 12, and SEC, and of course the few Group of 5 teams that are as well deciding to play. Now, when talking about college football this offseason and all the turmoil surrounding it, the big point of contention for a lot of people was the lack of central leadership. College football commissioner, college football czar, if you will. We don't have one, although some people might argue that Greg Sankey is acting as one currently by leading the SEC in what most people have just said has been a flawless nature of just taking their time and now even getting other leagues to follow them in starting on September 26th. But there is no actual central leader. Kirk Herbstreit, of course, from College Game Day, voice of college football analysts on ESPN, was on the CFB podcast. It's a podcast put on by ESPN. It is hosted Kevin Nagandi, David Pollack, and Kirk Herbstreit. So Herbstreit was on there, and he talked about the need for, or his need, his want, his desire for college football to have central leadership.
If anybody questioned, where the leadership is in college football, is it the NCAA? Is it Bill Hancock? Is it each of the Power 5 conferences? I think we learned that everybody lives in a silo. Everybody kind of looks after their chancellor, their presidents, their coaches, their ADs, their players, their constituents, their fans, and everybody looks after their backyard. And it's frustrating. And I'm hoping on the back end of this, when you go through adversity, David, I'd like to think it hurts to go through it, but I'd like to think you can come out on the other side and be better. And I'm hoping that, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm hoping the powers to be realize that this is not probably the best way to go in the future. We need a voice. We need a person that we turn to who gathers information and then says, okay, here's what I think we need to do collectively for the sport. I don't even know if that's possible, but it sounds good to me because this has been very frustrating to see the Big Ten do what they're doing, Larry out west doing what he's doing, Greg holding steady in the SEC. It's like everybody's their own boss, and I think it leaves the average college football fan kind of confused and frustrated with the whole process.
I think there's definitely a lot of college football fans that are frustrated with the process, and I think most of them reside in Big Ten country. He mentioned that he doesn't know if it would work or if it's even possible, but he wants it to happen. And I think that's the way a lot of people feel. Is it actually possible to have a college football czar? One thing I will also point out, he says, if you wondered who held the power, if it was the NCAA, if it was Bill Hancock, or if everybody was just doing their own thing, it's definitely not the NCAA. Definitely not when it comes to the Power 5. That's been long said, and it's been proven. That point has been driven home throughout this whole thing. But I don't know if it would work either. Of course, I would love to see it work. I'd love to see one central voice, one central form of leadership in college football and really college sports in general. But I don't think it would work because I don't know if all Power 5 leagues want it to work. they distanced themselves from the NCAA so they could have it this way, so they could govern themselves. Why would they now want to go through another change and have central leadership? And I think the Pac-12 is even more of a better example than the Big Ten on this front when it comes to football, because the Pac-12 canceled their season and it's been silence from them. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. It's just they haven't done anything else. There's been Larry Scott has just been, he's vanished basically after canceling the season. Why? I mean, when the Pac-12 canceled their season, their players released that statement and it just hammered the league, and it made it seem like the Pac-12 really didn't want to play a season. They didn't really take measures as severely as the other conferences to make the season happen. So if that is actually, in fact, their mindset, why would the Pac-12 want central leadership where that central leadership might say, hey, we're going to play a season? Look at it in reverse. If you have central leadership saying, hey, we're not going to play a season, how does that look for the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC? How do they take that news? That's the reason the main reason I don't think it would work is because I don't know if all Power 5 leagues would get on board with the idea. And maybe they would, because there would be advantages to it for sure. Look at something like name, image, and likeness. You have central leadership on that from a college football standpoint to work with Congress or to work with individual state governments to try and get that passed, instead of whatever you're doing right now with the NCAA basically pleading with Washington to pass some sort of blanket legislation over all of the leagues, because they can't do that. California passed their law. Florida passed their law. Well, that's just more turmoil here. So maybe it could work in favor of something like that, but I just don't know if it really improves what we have going on currently. And again, maybe it does. But I just feel like since you have such a divide, and you can argue about what that divide is caused by, I really don't care. There's the divide there, and I think I don't necessarily believe that you would still have the pushback. Whether it be from the leagues who don't want to play right now, if they were told, hey, we're playing a season, you'd have pushback. Or whether if it's the leagues that do want to play right now and they're told, hey, we're not playing a season this year, you would have pushback. Remains to be seen if we ever get a college football czar. If we do, would we actually call him a czar? I feel like czar carries kind of a negative connotation. Most people end up not too fond of the czar once he's in power for so long. College football commissioner? Who knows? What we do know is that the NCAA has filed a trademark. Trademark on the phrase battle in the bubble. This trademark was filed back on August the 26th. And in it states it will be used for, quote, entertainment services in the nature of athletic contests, games, tournaments, exhibitions, and other athletic events at the college level. So obviously, also the NCAA is going to sell clothing. They're going to brand it and sell clothing with a Battle in the Bubble on t-shirts. Get your Battle in the Bubble t-shirt. This is a big development, and the sport that first comes to mind is college basketball, because that's the one you've heard the most about when talking about creating a bubble, and most of it's been talked about for the March Madness, for the tournament. Create a bubble, maybe shrink the field, get teams in there, and have the tournament as you normally would, just with less teams and, of course, in a bubble. But in the wording, it's not specific to just college basketball. So what might this look like in other collegiate sports? Perhaps like in the fall, perhaps soccer, volleyball. In the spring, you have baseball, track and field, gymnastics. Is it possible for the NCAA to create a bubble for all of those? That looks to me to be a very interesting question, and I think they would use basketball as the guinea pig, naturally, to start. But this is a step in the right direction, and we were told that we'd have more information on the basketball season come this month, later this month, but middle of September. Here you go. They're right here. They're serious about it. They're moving in that direction to try and create some type of bubble, going as far as to trademark a phrase 5 days ago. Just a very interesting development there. Battle in the bubble, kind of cheesy, but it's the NCAA, so what do you really expect? We'll take a break right now, get into some NBA talk. Brandon Ingram bringing home some hardware for the Pelicans, even though they did not make the playoffs. It still looks as a sign for the future and a very interesting name to watch, potentially, for the New Orleans Pelicans head coaching job. We'll tell you who it is next here on OTB OT.
OTB OT. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona, inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Jamar Chase, Tyler Shelvin, TK McClendon. How does all the turnover affect LSU in 2020? We're discussing. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Nope, no T-Bob today. Uso's sitting in for T-Bob one more day. He'll be back tomorrow. This is OTB OT. Brandon Ingram making a little bit of Pelicans history yesterday, bringing home the Most Improved Player award. Becomes only the third person in Pelicans franchise history to win one of the NBA major awards, joining Chris Paul, who won Rookie of the Year in 07-08, and Byron Scott that same season won the NBA Coach of the Year award. Ingram was dominant this year, and the Pelicans needed him to be dominant, especially with the absence of Zion Williamson. What are the Pelicans without Brandon Ingram this year? That could be a very grim scene. Ingram set career highs in 6 different categories: points, rebounds, assists, steals, three-point percentage, and free throw percentage, all in his first season with the New Orleans Pelicans. He stopped by Inside the NBA on TNT last night and reacted to winning Most Improved Player award.
First, I want to say to God be the glory. Without him, I wouldn't be healthy. I wouldn't have a chance to get back on the basketball court. I think it goes back to last March, me getting injured and not being able to be back on the court until September. And that's very little time to come into and start preseason and start the regular season. But I was ready for it, and since day one, coming in, talking to Alvin Gentry, David Griffin, and some of the trainers on the team, I just wanted to put in my work every single day and just get the best out of it. And this year, and Alvin Gentry gave me a good opportunity to just go out there and do what I wanted to do.
He mentioned his health there, and that's what makes it even more impressive that Brandon Ingram won this award and had the season that he had. Going down in March, remember, it was blood clotting issues for Brandon Ingram. And he's back on the floor in September and goes out and sets career highs in 6 different categories. Very, very well deserving of the Most Improved Player award. He beat out Miami Heat center Bam Adebayo. Ingram collected 326 points, 42 of the 100 first place votes. So again, congratulations to Brandon Ingram. You heard him there in that quote, too. Very complimentary of Alvin Gentry and the job he did for his own game. Alvin Gentry, of course, now the former head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans. Pels are in the market for a new leader, and it's a market that's gotten a little bit more crowded here over the days. They're going to have some competition for some of the top names that they are going after, including Ty Lue. But one name that's starting to come across the radar that is quite interesting for the Pelicans is Mike D'Antoni. And D'Antoni, this is it for him in Houston. They did not renew his contract. So once the Rockets lose out, it looks like Mike D'Antoni will hit coaching free agency. There seems to be pros and cons to this move for New Orleans. We'll go through those momentarily. But overall, it's a name, and it's a name that would grab headlines, but that's not necessarily what you're after, right? You're after somebody to lead this Pelicans franchise into its next chapter. You have the young core. So we'll start there. Mike D'Antoni, Not necessarily very young. Kind of up there. 69 years old, Mike D'Antoni is. Couple reasons that's problematic, right? How does that jive with the young core of the New Orleans Pelicans, who average about 23 years of age? And also, that doesn't speak very well for long term. How much longer, how long can he actually lead your franchise into the future at 69 years old? Now, Mike D'Antoni does have a very respectable and impressive winning percentage in the regular season. 560, 672 wins. That ranks 20th all time, up against just 527 losses. The problem is his playoff record is 52-52. And is that what the Pelicans are really looking for? Are they looking for someone who will just get them into the playoffs? Or are they looking for somebody who will get them into the playoffs and then take them to that next level? That might not be this next head coach, right? The next head coach for the New Orleans Pelicans might not be the guy to take them to that next level. It might just be a guy who gets them into the regular season. That might be into the playoffs regularly. That might be the next step for this franchise. I think a lot of times we fall in love with the young core that they have, thinking they're so close. If we just get the right guy, they can skip that next step and jump right into contending for NBA championships. And I don't necessarily know if that's the case. So maybe a guy like D'Antoni could come in, be a bit of a holdover for you, get you to that level of where you expect to be in the playoffs every single year. And then, because he's a little older, when it's time for him to move on, then you go out and try to find that guy who next can take you to the level of competing for an NBA title. Another pro for D'Antoni is he has coached star players in the past. 3 MVP seasons, as a matter of fact, from Steve Nash and James Harden combined. The problem, though, again, not one single finals appearance with those players. That's where a guy like Ty Lue becomes very interesting for the Pelicans if you're looking to go retread route, right? Ty Lue has coached a superstar and won a title with that superstar. Yes, I know it was LeBron James. I'm aware that that's not really a fair comparison to Steve Nash and James Harden, because LeBron James is quite possibly and arguably the greatest player ever. I don't think he is. I think it's Michael Jordan, but there are some people who argue with you that it is him. And he's definitely the best player in the game right now and has been for the better part of a decade. So I understand that's not necessarily apples to apples, right? But it still stands to reason that he knows how to handle that type of superstar on his team and can still win the title with it. So that is attractive to me in the Ty Lue. And that's where maybe he stands out against Mike D'Antoni. But one more, his teams play fast, and the Pelicans are built to play fast. That is something that is for sure intriguing, because it wouldn't be too much of a major system overhaul for the Pelicans. I don't really want to see them go out there and shoot 53s a game like the Rockets do, because that's just not entertaining, especially when you miss most of them like the Rockets have done occasionally. You think back to a series with Golden State where they had the lead in that series 3-2, then just went ice cold from 3 the rest of the time and didn't end so well for them. But they do play fast, and the Pelicans play fast. So there's another one. It's just another pro. The biggest con for me, though, would probably be the age. And I know we've harped on it. Before we get back to that, one more con, and it's actually sounds kind of weird when you say it like this. He does have our previous relationship with David Griffin back in Phoenix, but it didn't end great. That relationship did not end as well as it could have when D'Antoni left for the New York Knicks. So would they even consider it is another angle to this. I think they would. I mean, I think when you listen to David Griffin talk about this hire, he's not necessarily leaving anything off the table. He's going to look at all possible candidates for this job. This is an extremely important hire for the New Orleans Pelicans, as the one previous to this one was, and as even the one previous to that was. So that's con. And then we get back to age. 69 years old. How much longer is he really willing to coach? How much longer does he want to coach? Well, there's a guy like Greg Popovich, who's the oldest coach in the NBA, and I just don't think Pop shows any sign of slowing down, right? He's in his 70s. 71 years old is Greg Popovich. Interesting name to keep an eye on. Could they even land him? Would he want to go to New Orleans? I think most people would, because of the setup that New Orleans has right now currently. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Will they do that? I don't know. Interesting name to think. Jerry Stackhouse also keeps coming up for the New Orleans Pelicans. That'd be fun. I'd be okay with that. Just off of, hell, I wonder what Jerry Stackhouse could have done at Vanderbilt the last 2 years had his best player not got hurt both times. Stackhouse is an interesting name to watch. It's just interesting to think if the Pelicans would even go to the college ranks to get a coach. And it certainly seems like Stackhouse might be choice number one if they were to do that. Interesting times. They have plenty of time to figure it out. And David Griffin said from jump that this would be a slow process for the New Orleans Pelicans. And so far, it certainly has been. One thing's for sure, though, the race to get the next head coach has certainly become more crowded as more people lose their jobs. And look, Houston is fixing to join that party as soon as their season's over. Because if they didn't want to renew D'Antoni's contract before the season, then what makes them want to do that after the season, especially if they have a first-round exit? They have a Game 7 coming their way after dropping Game number 6 to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night in the bubble, which ironically got him to 52 and 52. 104-100 was the final score in that game. So that's going to be another team that jumps in to the battle to find their next head coach. Speaking of the NBA playoffs, give you a quick recap here, and then we'll hit a break of the action last night. Not many games last night in the NBA playoffs, just two as a matter of fact. Bucks. The Heat, 115-104 over the Bucks. Jimmy Butler, career high, playoff 40 points in that game. Bucks drop game 1 for the second straight series here in the bubble. Miami now leading that one 1-0, and we just told you the Rockets fell to the Thunder 104-100 in Game 6. That series is heading for a Game 7. Today's action in the NBA playoffs, Eastern semis, Game number 2. Celtics lead the Raptors 1-0 in that series, and they square off for Game 2 at 4:30 Central Time. That will be on ESPN. And then Game 7 tonight of Nuggets Jazz in the Western Conference first round, 7:30 Central on ABC. Donovan Mitchell versus Jamal Murray, Part 7. Who's going to go for 50? Might both of them go for 50? You'll have to tune in to find out. Right now, we got to grab our quick break, come back, close it out, talking some Saints training camp, Drew Brees' arm strength, Alvin Kamara's contract, Jameis Winston. He's got a great personality, and they love that about him. Stick around. It's Off the Bench, Overtime, OTB OT, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
OTB OT. Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Join us for a Tuesday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. The guys are live from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street talking football, NBA playoffs, and a whole lot more. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Closing out hour number 3 of OTB here. OTB, OT, Musso sitting in for T-Bob. Close out the hour with Little Saints training camp talk as quarterbacks coach Joe Lombardi was speaking with the media yesterday after practice. And he was asked about two things. He was going to be asked about Jameis Winston's development. And he was going to be asked about Drew Brees' arm strength. Drew Brees' arm strength has been a real point of contention really ever since the end of last season, and especially since Drew Brees earlier this offseason and during training camp said that he was working with Tom House over the offseason, hoping to throw the ball 60 yards again. So that has really jump-started the conversation there. Here is Lombardi, though, talking about what they've seen from Breeze and his arm so far in camp.
I mean, his arm looks good, and, he's working on narrowing his base a little bit at times so he can stride into the throws a little bit more that go deep. It's some very specific mechanical stuff that, every year that he brings to the table that he's always trying to work on. And so, his arm looks strong, and he's been throwing the ball well. So, I think some of that gets talked about is overrated. I mean, it's not like we game plan and feel like he can't throw the ball downfield. But, I think some of that's just, the way the games fall out sometimes. So getting big plays is always a positive for an offense. It helps you score more. And, as you look at it and you see that some of those big plays maybe have dropped out in years past, that can be an emphasis to try to get those chunk plays. But, his arm looks good.
Nick Underhill was with us earlier and talked about Drew Brees' arm strength as well. Said that maybe it's not 60-yard passes, but he is definitely on target with the 40-yard pass down the field to where it's just almost automatic again. Danny, you're a noted Saints homer. Do you believe in Drew Brees' arm strength?
Yeah, I mean, I believe you saw glimpses of it in like the play action game last year, and all that. What's really going to help him in long passes is the offensive line protection. When he's rushed, he's not going to execute on those long passes.
And maybe the addition of a deep threat now. With Emmanuel Sanders possibly helping out more with Drew Brees' arm, not with his arm strength, but with the deep passes and the big plays on the offense. One guy who's hitting a lot of deep balls in practice is Jameis Winston. It seems like every single piece of video that comes out of Saints training camp has Jameis Winston just dropping dimes down the field. The media asked Lombardi if Jameis has different install, maybe perhaps on the offense than Drew Brees or Taysom Hill. Why is he taking more deep shots? Is it a different install, or is it just dictated by what the defense is giving Jameis?
Yeah, I mean, we've got an install that's, we kind of repeat with some changes every year. And so, it's just kind of the luck of the draw sometimes what plays you get. Obviously, there's some plays that are specific for Taysom at quarterback and some new stuff maybe that Drew likes to work in. So he's getting our base install stuff. And, sometimes the coverage dictates to go deep. And like you said, he's good at doing that.
Another thing that was also brought up plenty when talking about Jameis Winston was his personality and how that's showing in his development as well.
Yeah, he just keeps getting better and more comfortable and playing faster, playing fast and playing smart. And it's good to see. He's doing well.
So there you go. Jameis Winston throws a great deep ball. Very good at it. Drew Brees, his arm's fine. Everybody stop overreacting about it. At least that's what the Saints coaching staff will have you believe. I for one, do believe that Drew Brees' arm is okay. I don't think that it's anything to lose sleep over. I don't think it's anything that can tank the Saints' season is Drew Brees' arm strength, even though he is, in his 40s now, and it didn't look great towards the end of last season. But there were signs. Drew was playing very well down the stretch heading into the playoffs last year. I think you can more chalk that up to a bad game. And you move on. I don't think that Drew Brees is done. I don't think that Drew Brees is where he was. But, the same could be said for somebody like Tom Brady, who's and they're going to get compared a lot because they're the two quarterbacks playing deep into their 40s. They're the two quarterbacks now in the same division on rival teams. And they're the two quarterbacks who keep trading records in the NFL. So they'll be compared a lot. So, but it's the same thing with Brady's arm strength. People have started to question that. So much as, remember, Brady posted the video on his Instagram of him throwing the ball 65 miles an hour or whatever it was. So it's not what it was maybe for Drew Brees, but it's still just not something that I'm willing to chalk up and say that could tank the Saints season. Drew Brees not being able to throw the deep ball is not going to be the reason that the Saints win or do not win the Super Bowl this year, and it wasn't last year either. No, he did not have a good game against Minnesota, but guess what? Nobody else on the team did either. That was a team loss They did not play well, and that is ultimately what cost them their season last year. So, no. Drew Brees' arm strength. I'm kind of with Joe Lombardi there. I think it's more of an overrated topic. If he's throwing 40-yard bombs down the field, maybe it's not a 60, but who's to say he won't hit a 60 every now and then? You start gaining 40 yards on a play, that's chunk plays. That's your big playability back in your offense. And we've all seen what Sean Payton and Drew Brees' offense can be when they have that big play factor in there. It leads to very good results and a lot of wins. That's going to just about do it for us here on OTBOT today. Tomorrow on the show, T-Bob will be back for all 3 hours, including the OTB hour. We'll do Would You Rather Wednesday. We'll have some great guests for you lined up as well as always. And Danny and I will be here. We'll hang out as well and chime in when needed. That's all coming up tomorrow on Off the Bench. More from LSU camp, Saints camp. Did any other LSU player opt out? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see the rest of the day, find out if they did or not. Here's to hoping they didn't. Starting to look a little thin over there on the Ponderosa. Not really. They'll be fine as well. All right, stick around. OTBOT, this is going to be it for us today, and we will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m.